Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve optimal health. It's Friday, which means it's time for friends sharing facts about health, business, and overall success. In today's episode, we talk to Devin Stone, who will talk about lifestyle medicine and how you can integrate simple lifestyle modifications to achieve optimal health. Who is Devin? Devin's journey in healthcare started 12 years ago when he graduated with a medical biology degree. At this time, he started the most sought-after integrative and regenerative medicine clinic in Hollywood, MetroMD. He further educated himself and graduated in regenerative medicine and obtained other certificates in the field of nutrition, cancer biology, alternative medicine, drugless medicine, just to name a few. Now, Devin is studying his doctorate in naturopathic medicine at Bastyr University. During his professional development, it became very obvious that healthcare needs to be looked at from a different angle, and more focus needs to be placed on fundamental principles of health, mindset, good food, clean water, and exercise. This led him to create a natural wellness supplement brand that he has been operating for the last 4 years called Stone Naturals. When Devin is not running the MetroMD, his supplement brand, or studying, he's cooking, enjoying time with family and friends, and being outdoors. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That was quite the introduction.
Yeah, you sound like a busy man.
At times, yeah, definitely. So definitely what keeps me going.
I love it. I love it. So, you opened up MetroMD, you've got your own supplement company, you've studied and you're studying again. I mean, it sounds like you've been studying your whole life. What have been the key turning points in your journey to lead you to do what you have done in your life so far?
I would have to say just first getting very involved in the healthcare field when I originally did. Just kind of seeing the way the whole model was set up just after seeing different types of patients that were coming into a lot of the clinics that we were having, and seeing that there was kind of like a fundamental issue with most of these patients. As we all know, just the way the healthcare system's set up, they often were coming in with looking for some type of answer, but when you really kind of looked at their whole picture, it was often due to their lifestyle overall. Just kind of looking at the way really they were eating, the way that they were exercising, the way their mind kind of was throughout the day. When we really kind of put that into the picture, it really started making me think, well, the way we're kind of handling patients might be a little bit backwards. And this was even in the clinic MetroMD, as you mentioned earlier, that I was co-founder in as well. I even felt like the way we were doing things honestly was not up to kind of par how it should be done. So that's ultimately what drove me back to going into naturopathic medicine now. And it's really just trying to honestly do what I can to hopefully give people a few more answers in terms of ways they can manage their life through lifestyle and just live a better, healthier life, and hopefully eradicate some of these bigger problems that do go on as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, what drove you to start MetroMD? What was the basis of it?
Well, honestly, that was kind of came really randomly. When I was in my undergrad, I, at that time, was actually wanting to go to the conventional medical route. I was kind of doing the pre-medicine type of bachelor's degree and was wanting to go get an MD at that time. And I originally, when I was going into my third or fourth year of undergrad, I was at the time where I was applying to medical programs, trying to make the best application. And I knew one area I needed to kind of get strength in was to have some type of working environment on my application. So I actually applied for an internship that I found with the doctor who ended up becoming my a business partner with me, where we then started MetroMD afterwards. At the time when I was doing my undergrad, I was getting really into stem cell and regenerative medicine, and that was something he was kind of interested in. So we kind of bonded that way and created, MetroMD, that clinic that we still work with today. But that's kind of what got me into it. Actually, I was very, very fortunate to first work with him as an intern, kind of proved myself in some way over a few years. And then we kind of just meshed the way we could work with each other. I was very creative with making ideas of how to market his business online with all the new platforms that are out. And he was a very knowledgeable doctor in anti-aging, and luckily we were able to build something. But that's actually what steered me off course and ultimately went into business and ended up to where I am now, more into completely natural health.
Yeah, wow. So it's a big change. So you actually wanted to be a doctor first, and then now you're studying naturopathic medicine.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel very, very fortunate with kind of having that time period in between as well, of kind of going into the healthcare field more from the administrative side to begin with, because like I was saying, just kind of saw all those issues that we were talking about earlier, that the reason why people are getting sick, I was able to understand that. And I feel like if I would have gone just right into the MD school of schooling out of undergrad, I wouldn't have found the type of medicine that truly sets with me. I'm a firm believer in MD and conventional medicine for its practices, but I just know me as a practitioner, I would not have been as happy going that route as now that I found naturopathic medicine and going into that field for my doctorate. It's kind of the medicine now that I really want to learn and just love doing it right now.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. So you had a few things coming up there. And how long have you got to go till you finish your naturopathy?
A little under 2 years right now. I just started. I'm in my second out of 4 quarters of my third year, and it's a 4-year program.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful. You're loving it?
I do, yeah. It's definitely been a lot of work, but it's been a really, really amazing education to get so far. And now starting to work with patients in some of my more clinical years, it's been really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely love it too. So, you sound like a very successful individual with everything that you've done in your life and everything that you're still doing. So we talk a lot about success in this podcast. What would you call success? What does success look like for you?
Wow, good question. I would have to say it definitely has changed, and now my understanding of success is, I do think you need some type of comforts in life. You need shelter, you need good food, you need water. Obviously, all those foundational pieces need to be there. But to me now, it's just really finding the best happiness and where I feel like is my purpose. And I do feel like I'm going down that course of fulfilling the purpose that I do bring. And I think that's, to me, the best success right now, is just having that why kind of and that purpose in life. So I think that would be my most basic definition of success as of today.
So fulfilling your why.
Exactly, definitely. So if you have that, I think you're successful. And just with that, I think that could go into play to whoever you are as well. Like your why can be very different from someone else's, but no matter who you are, if you're fulfilling that, I think you could be considered successful then.
Yeah. So it's actually, I don't know if any of the listeners have gone through it to find out what their why is, but it doesn't just happen. You don't just go, oh, what's my why? And then you write it down and then you have it. It takes sometimes days, months, years to actually find your why and work with it, and you make change. Have you found that to be the case with you too?
Oh, for sure. And I think with what's happening right now, like going back to get my doctorate after, I was working for almost 10 years professionally and doing fine there. But even then, I would not say I've had that success. Like I didn't have my why at that time. Like I was doing fine. I had a comfortable life, but I was not fully happy with what I was doing, because I knew always deep down I really wanted to become a doctor and help people directly and hopefully share some type of knowledge that I learned that they could learn and understand something more to help themselves. And that I was never able to get. And I think now going back to school and fulfilling that purpose that I'm doing, along with just the type of medicine now that I'm able to actually learn instead, I think that's really kind of given me now some new understanding of fulfilling my why, and I feel like I'm just getting there, just starting to.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that you also have the opportunity to do something like that, and you have the drive, and it's not like, oh, I'm too old, or it's not for me, or something like that. It's just, yep, I'm just going to do it and it's going to fulfill me.
Yeah, definitely I feel like it was a thought that I had though for a few years, wasn't able just to jump over. It was always something in the back of my mind, but eventually, I don't know what kind of fully made me jump over and say, like, screw it, almost. I'm going to go back and become a doctor now because I know that's kind of more my purpose. But yeah, it wasn't easy. And I don't know what kind of made that happen.
Yeah. So before that, were you, what were you doing? What were you doing before you started studying naturopathy?
Before that, I was more doing administrative, where the integrative practice that we have in Los Angeles with that doctor who I originally started as a intern with, or did a internship with. I was speaking of. That's kind of what I was doing over the last 10 years. Was really helping him develop his practice, growing that. And yeah, that's mostly what I was doing. I was also did start a supplement line, like we were talking about a little bit earlier. And that kind of came with that whole course, like I was talking about, how seeing even the patients that were coming into our clinic, looking into some of their foundational problems, the doctors that were working with them, the nurses that were working with them, a lot of that, like we were saying, and as you know, stems from food, and that they're either getting bad food that they might be eating, or food that they're just lacking in general and not even receiving. And when we started looking into that, me and my partner, we were like, we need to bring in at least some type of good supplementation to our practice that he could use with his patients. And when we started looking into that, even that was really hard to find, was whole food based supplements. We didn't want just synthetic supplements, which most are out there. We wanted stuff that does come from whole foods. So this was about 5 years, and now it's starting to become a little bit bigger of an industry, but at the time it was pretty rare. Most companies, and a few of the companies that were out there, were more of like a multi-level marketing company, more so even than just a good nutrition company. So we decided to make our supplement line at that time, and that's something it's still to me very, very, I'm passionate about, because I just think it's something that could help a lot of people as well.
Yeah, 100%. I had a look online and they look absolutely amazing. Different ones for thyroid, adrenal, and I looked at the ingredients and I was like, ooh, nicely formulated. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about lifestyle medicine and the role it plays in the solution of the current chronic and lifestyle related disease epidemic. What is lifestyle medicine and how is it different to conventional medicine? I know we touched a little bit on it, but are you able to go into a bit deeper in regards to the difference of it and what it is?
For sure. So to me, I think lifestyle medicine is just the kind of changes you can make in your life daily that will just better your health in some way. And oftentimes, I think this is one of the most foundational areas that people could kind of start with when approaching their healthcare. Because these are the things you could do or not do daily to your body that are just part of your life that can make such a big difference. Things from just like cleaner water that you're drinking on the daily, or one product that you're putting on your skin daily not having some type of toxic element in it. Making these type of like lifestyle changes is something I think is just so foundational to people, and if they could kind of follow this, it will better their health. And that's why I do consider it a branch of medicine as well, because anything you kind of do to your body or give it or take away from it that betters it, to me is a branch of medicine, as long as you know that.
Yeah, 100%. So conventional, so when you go to a MD, or here as we would call a doctor, our GP, you don't think they mention and talk about lifestyle medicine as much as they should, in a sense? It's not even touched upon, or?
I think they do. I think they try to. I think many wish they could have more time to educate their patients even on that.
I agree with that 100%. I think they just don't have the time, which is unfortunate.
I do. I completely agree. It's a very overwhelmed system that way. And I think that is also where I think naturopathy just fits into the healthcare model so beautifully, is that's kind of our job in our area to fulfill and work directly with different healthcare providers that way. Is if we could come in and kind of help fill that gap and teach people often just ways to alter their daily lifestyle that could make them just better versions of themselves, and potentially even reverse some diseases that they might be diagnosed with currently.
Yeah, but there has to be a whole shift in regards to that, from my understanding, because if someone comes, let's say, with Hashimoto's, right, thyroid disease, to the doctor, and then the doctor just talks about, or the naturopathic doctor talks about, oh, let's just change some cleaning products. Let's change this and that. Individuals these days, unfortunately, just go, well, that doesn't make sense. Where is my pill? What can I fix? Because I think the old school medicine is more, the patient doesn't have to do as much work, where I think new medicine is the patient drives the consultation and drives their health. What would you say about that?
I think that is like always one of the hardest parts with this route of looking into your healthcare as well. And I think that's something that just takes really verbalizing with someone that you're working with as a provider as well. Just, this is something that's going to take time. This is something that might sound crazy. Yeah, your toothpaste might have something in it that might not be healthy for you, but removing that might help. Is that the sole solution to making yourself healthy? I think that's where people start getting kind of not believing in it fully, because like, it's just my toothpaste. So, but I think when you start just having the time to sit down with them and talk with them, that there's lots of different areas that you might be exposed to stuff. There's a lot of different pieces of your life. I mean, this goes into everything: the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the products you put on your body. Now you're looking at not just having this one small exposure of something to your body. And if you look at that whole picture and trying to change that over time, that's when you could get healthier. But even that could sound still, though, very overwhelming to someone. Like, oh, wow, now I need to look into every single aspect and change all of those. I can't do that. There's no way. I like you said, I came here for just getting something I could start doing that, and that's it. And I think that's once again now why it's great being a healthcare provider like you and myself, is we could help guide a person along that path and hopefully meet them wherever they are. Maybe they will be excited to do some type of small change, which they will start feeling a difference, and that might trigger then the next step. Or might be someone that even just says, hey, okay, I will completely change and do everything that you say that could help better from my lifestyle and ultimately help. But I think it's just having that conversation with them and figuring out where they are and trying to at least make them understand how this all works together at a holistic model for them.
Yes, it's the key about becoming a naturopathic is teacher, isn't that right? It's all about teaching and all about exploring those ideas with the patients in front of you and teaching them about the whole thing, because we've got the time to do it, fortunately enough. So someone says to you, is lifestyle medicine an evidence-based approach, or is it just hippie things that people are just talking about? What would you say?
I think it just gets very, very complicated, because just like what we were saying, it's such a multifactorial aspect when you look at it. I mean, when you look at how one chemical that you're getting in from one area interacts with another chemical, and now you put in your whole biochemistry and then everything that's happening in your body, there's no way to make a sound study on that to actually verify that. And that's the way science kind of works today, is you need a sound study in order to prove something. So it's pretty much impossible to do. You can't remimic that kind of whole scenario that's happening in every single person on a scale where you could actually say, okay, yes, it was their lifestyle that caused this type of problem. From that scale, I think it's hard to kind of prove that way. I think it's more when we start, and I hate to say it, almost systematizing it and putting it into different areas where we could look and say, okay, we know eating better, we know good diet improves your body, we know drinking clean water improves your body, we know better air quality improves your body. And now kind of putting all of these into a more looking into that higher level type of thinking, we know that this is something that we all benefit from. I mean, I find it almost bizarre at times when people are even against that, just because there hasn't been proven studies in all of this. But when everyone knows we need to eat good quality food. I mean, if you ask that person directly if they had access to it, would they eat good quality food? I'm sure they most likely would want that for their health purposes. So I think it's once we establish that, that's where we could get going.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And like you said, you can't put a study to it, can you? It's just it's impossible to be like to put a study in regards to lifestyle medicine, and that's why I guess it gets that repel that individuals go, no, well, no, it's not science, it's not proven, therefore I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to do it. But if we educate them and to understand that you know, this is why there can't be a study done, this is why, these are the factors and things like that, and like you said, 100%. So yeah, so that's amazing. So how do you believe lifestyle medicine can fit in the current medicine system, and what benefits will it present?
Definitely so. So I think it's already people are doing it. It's where a lot of practitioners are going. It's just starting to educate people on what these lifestyle changes actually are. I mean, we know of the big ones, like I was saying, better food, good water, but when it comes down to even potentially lipstick that you're putting on for the day, or some type of hairspray you're putting on, or a car scent that you have in your car when you go, just to make it smell better. I mean, these are all areas that there could be some type of toxic exposure around, some type of chemical that we know is not good for us. But oftentimes we're not looking into these. So I think it's, to implement this, it's just really going to take people starting to educate people on, honestly, the way our products are set up today, and understanding them, and also understanding that there are alternative ways of having them that actually work with our body's biochemistry. And once we could kind of start getting that message out, I think it just takes people starting to understand that, trying it out for themselves, and it's something that I will probably take time to really get out there to the masses, but I think it is shifting in that direction. People are asking for it, and luckily enough, we have platforms like this, so we have platforms like Instagram, where the word could start spreading and just start striking people's curiosity, so they're also asking these questions as well now. Hey, is this good for me? Should I be putting this on? Is this a better product? Like, I think that conversation is becoming more normal now for people as well about anything that they're consuming, which beforehand it was almost just what's cheapest and what kind of looks and smells the best.
That's exactly right. That was a competition in regards to what's cheapest in the business wise. Like, but the interesting thing is I know there was a study, but I think it was an environmental working group, and they looked at an individual in just their morning routine. They were exposed to, like, I can't remember the number, but it was like 50 or something chemicals. And that would just give a shock to individuals. Being exposed to about 50 or so chemicals, but just waking up and getting ready is just absurd.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we don't realize it. And that's why I think lifestyle medicine is such a cool field. It's just something that you start making these changes, and it's never something you'll ever be perfect in as well. I think that's something that also needs to be very well known. It's like myself, every single day too, I'm looking at what am I doing, or what can I still change, or is this really the best version of it for me as well in my life? But it's something that if you're conscious of, that you could kind of keep improving. But also feel like we should touch on too, it's just, don't get over consumed with it either. I mean, our bodies still are living and could still detoxify. We still have all of those capabilities. So don't make it run your life where now you're just worried about every single thing that you're possibly doing, where now that could be stressful. Like, still live, but just start making a few changes here and there, and you'll start to see just ways you could improve yourself.
I love that you said that, because I remember when I started looking at things, I was like, okay, I got an air filter, amazing. And then I was like, should I get one in every single room? And I was like, okay, maybe that's too much. I got a water filter. I was like, awesome. But then I was like, oh my gosh, but what if I'm out and I don't have water with me? It is okay. Like you said, if you have that water, your body is able to digest it. You know, if it's the plastic water bottle, which, you know, should avoid as much as you can. But if that's the only thing that's available, then don't be too hard on yourself, because you have your functions in your body, like you said, the liver and things to detoxify those toxins out of us. But yeah, so where did you start when all this stuff happened? So when you started realizing there was all these things around us and that you could have an alternative lifestyle in a sense, where did you start?
Wow. I would say it probably started with first my diet. When I was kind of out of undergrad, like earlier, just never really thought too much about the food I was eating really
I don't think
impacted how.
anyone does in university, do
I
they?
mean, no, I mean, you just honestly eat horrible food most of the time. It just kind of happens. And later on, just kind of started thinking about that more, and my body just not feeling as good eating that way, and just started switching to eating more vegetables and fruits. I always ate a pretty good diet that way, but just thinking a little bit more consciously about it. Then I got into just organic eating, just the difference between organic food and not, because that I never even thought about for a while. And then I'd say it was probably about around the time that I started making my supplements too, my eyes just started opening up to just different quality of products, even, and just the way that they're made, and just kind of kept going down the rabbit hole almost. And now just kind of, just it's part of me now. I just love kind of looking into it and helping other people understand just what are just little tweaks that they can make as well that could better themselves.
100%. And I saw on your Instagram, you've also got a water filter, you've got an air filter. I know that the products that you use are also clean, as much clean. So how do you make sure that they're clean? What do you look for?
So to me, I mean, I would say it is fortunate in knowing what some of these chemicals are, and also what different additive, just what products are made out of, even knowing the different herbals, additives that are in there, what they are when they list their Latin name on the labels. I think that is, I mean, definitely great to have that piece. But I think for most people, what I always just like tell people is, if you turn a label around, and it should not have one, just too many ingredients. Two, you should understand, I mean, pretty much all of the agents that are actually in that product as well. So if it's some type of foreign language, it's probably not a good product. So for me, it's really looking at that anything that is in there is derived from nature. To be honest, I think that's as simply put as possible. It uses waxes that are made from nature. It uses herbs that are from nature to make its active ingredient in there. So it's always looking into that there's really nothing synthetic or unnatural in there. That's usually my biggest thing. And oftentimes it's, like I said, those words that are often on the back of labels that you don't even know to begin with, things that are probably not in the products that you use.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's a good starting point. So just look at just the ingredients, especially with the food. Like you said, like you started with the food. So that will definitely be a good starting point to look at the food. And like you said, looking at the ingredients that are in there. And if you don't understand them, then what is it?
Exactly.
Is there any websites or any apps that you use that assist you with that?
So I really like EWG. That's one of I just think they're an amazing resource for so many different levels. There, if you guys aren't familiar with it, you could put in pretty much any ingredient and it will tell you the safety of it. So just saying, if you flip a package around and if you don't know what one of those ingredients are, you could put it in their search engine and it'll tell you if it's safe or not. So that's an awesome way. Sometimes you can even put the whole product in their search engine and it will tell you if it's good or not. And this is just a few of the things that the EWG is doing in terms of just making it people more aware of just what's in products, what's in our life, what's in our environment. The other one that I really like as well is an app called Think Dirty as well. It's an app where you could pretty much just take a picture of a barcode of a product. This is a little bit better for like skincare products, household products, like your cleaning products. But you could take a picture of the label or the barcode and it will kind of show you what's in it, what could be potentially hazardous, which just makes it a lot easier and just kind of empowers a shopper when they're out there. It's just, you might not know and you don't need to know. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of products out there. Why should you know? But if you could just take a picture with this app and kind of get the understanding of, oh, this is a clean one, this is not. It's a really cool app for that reason. So.
Yeah, you can have a day out at the shops in that app and you'll be surprised. I did that, so it's just crazy.
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of it's kind of alarming, but kind of fun to see too.
I know, it's like, what's that woman doing down that aisle for hours? Yeah, it's mind-blowing because when you look at like what your parents have used or, you know, as a child, what you've used or what you used to use, and you're just like, Wow, it just blows your mind. And then it's kind of like, okay, you have your liver to detox, but what other effects has this led to? Has that led to my asthma? Has that led to my skin breaking out? Even infertility? How huge are the toxins found in so many products with infertility rates? Just absolutely crazy. And you can start like with the food, with toothpaste, deodorant. I even went to the stage of I got my doona and my pillows, because you just imagine the toxins in there. So the next thing is my mattress. I'm looking at changing a mattress. So
Of course, yeah. Like I said, there's just so many levels. to
I
going
know.
into.
Where do I go? It's like so many things. But like you said, just keep doing it slowly, one thing at a time. And so in regards to someone starting, I know we spoke a little bit, someone just listening to this and being like, oh my gosh, I am overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much to do. What would be the 3 top practical tips for the audience to incorporate in their life to ensure that they're achieving optimal health? And in regards to lifestyle medicine, what would you recommend to them?
Definitely. I think, well, I just don't want to directly recommend, because I do think everyone could be a little bit different, that route. But something that I would say would be my biggest 3 game changers for myself would have to be my water filter, for one, just because you're drinking water all day long, and it's nice just to make sure you have a really, really clean water. And then I always put it in I don't know if you could see it, but a glass mason jar just to drink from. But that is one of my biggest, is my water filter. From there, I'd say it's also related to water as well. It's my shower filter as well. That's something I use every single day, obviously, and just making sure also clean water is running over me there, because you do absorb a lot through your skin as you're showering. After that, I would have to say would be just my air filter as well. That's something I keep in my room where I sleep, just to make sure as I am resting and kind of recovering throughout the night, I do have also the best air quality. Those 3 I would have to say are like my biggest, I know that I see a big difference with right now, is those that just really notice just good health changes. And they were a little bit of an investment up front, I would have to say. That's kind of the downfall, but something I use every single day, all day long, though.
Yeah, I've done that too. So I saved up the water filter, the shower filter, and the air filter. Yes, it is an upfront cost at the start, but I mean, your health is so important. It is so important. Without your health, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be alive. You wouldn't have the energy. You wouldn't have the passion to do your why, which is, running your business, or, having your family and being healthy. So yeah, so that's absolutely amazing. So is there, any filters that you used or that you would recommend?
So I have been using one by a company called ProPure. It's very similar to like Berkey as well. They're both ceramic gravity filters, they're called. So it's just kind of a step up above the regular carbon filters that are in of the kind of conventional water cleaning systems that are out there. So they do remove a little bit more pollutants or contaminants in your water. That's what I'm using currently. I like that personally over RO, or what's called reverse osmosis some way, just because reverse osmosis, you're rearranging the water and taking out all of the minerals, which I like having, hopefully, some of the natural minerals that were in the water to begin with. Just my own school of thought, but clean water, ultimately just having something to filter it is huge. But yeah, I use the ProPure filter. That's something that's been working very well for me. It's nice because it's a big 2-gallon tank, so I fill it up and could just pour water from it pretty much all day long.
That's amazing. Did you say you water your plants with it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, they're happy plants.
Hopefully.
I was actually looking for a filter outside for my plants. So interesting. I haven't found one yet. I found ones overseas, but not in Australia, which is interesting because, like you said, because I'm planting a few plants, you want the good water to go in the soil. But I haven't found one.
More my indoor plants I was talking about. But there is one for if you're using a hose called a boogie boo.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw, but I don't know if it ships to Australia.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at that because it's spring here, so I'm busy in the garden planting some vegetables. That's awesome. That's brilliant. All right. Well, to finish off, I ask all my guests, as this is the Natural Health Podcast, what is your best kept natural health hack? A little secret that you do if every day, and it's your little health hack that you would like to share with us. I know you've mentioned so many with the water, filter, this, that, but is there one that comes to you?
I would have to say personally is personal mantras in some way. Throughout the day, there's certain mantras that I say to myself that I do every day and have done for a while. And they're just something that keeps me going always, which is nice. And that's something I think some people talk about, but is very off topic from our topic so far, but definitely something that I like to do daily. Is just it's a small phrase that I say to myself, usually in my head, but just keep conscious of it. And it is something positive, and I know that can potentially help many people as well, as just having that and keep going with it.
Yeah, it just grounds you and just reminds you, because you would have just a hectic day, meetings here for doing this, doing that, and just having that little thing just grounds you, which is brilliant. That's amazing. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Of course.
So we've come to the end of this absolutely magical podcast interview with Devin. For the listeners who want to connect with you, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to know everything lifestyle medicine. I want to follow you, because I know I follow you and you've got some absolutely amazing posts and just thoughts. Like today you put up a post about the car, the switch on the car for the air coming in and out. I love that. So just little practical tips. So where can they find you?
Yeah, best is just through my Instagram, which is dstone008. I like to, like I said, just share a lot of these tips and try to make it easy for people. It's just something simple to change and just kind of make a better, healthier environment for yourself.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast today. I really, really appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you. You as well.
Thank you for joining us at the Natural Health Podcast. And remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health.